are your blues heroes?
I got into blues when I was my second year in Vietnam. Actually,
Uh-huh.
uh, I my first year I was just with 100-man company, 101st Airborne,
Uh-huh.
and we'd go out for 30 days, come back for 3, rest up, and then go back out for 30. I did that for a year. But when I read up, I joined this unit called the Long Range Recon,
Uh-huh.
and it's a 6-man team. But you only went out for 4 days, and you came in for 3,
Uh-huh.
and you did that.
Uh-huh.
And I did that for a year. Anyway, one day, when we're in the rear, we have our own hoot 6-man team, and this one guy was playing the harmonica. I'd never even heard an harmonica play, to tell you the truth.
Uh-huh.
Other than maybe the harmonica or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it was different. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm playing the blues."
Uh-huh.
And that's what intrigued me. It was just that. And then it seemed like a few days later, I'm in what it is, we have like a restaurant in the rear, where you can just buy your own grub.
Uh-huh.
And they had music, in the, just music playing. And again, it was B.B. King. I had never heard that. And I'm from Salem, Massachusetts.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know if they knew what the blues was there. Anyway, that's what intrigued me.
Uh-huh.
And so when I got out of Vietnam, I had 6 months to go. And they sent me to Germany. And that's where they make harmonicas. The Hohner harmonicas.
Uh-huh.
And I decided to buy some harmonicas. And I started fiddling with it. And, nothing really, nothing big. And when I got out of the service, I got a room with my cousin, and he had a piano, a little piano.
Uh-huh.
So I brought an harmonica, and I started buying blues records, and I got hooked.
Yeah. Cool.
And but probably the real reason why I could do it was I was really, I guess, super antisocial when I got out of the Army. I mean, no friends.
Uh-huh.
I didn't want any.
Uh-huh.
And so music was the perfect thing for me.
Uh-huh.
Perfect.
Wow.
And I just started doing it every day.
Wow. Uh-huh.
And after about 3 years, I'm playing on the streets of New York City, making money.
Uh-huh.
I had just left Atlanta, Georgia.
Uh-huh.
So I goes to New York, and I started just playing on the street.
Yeah.
And after about a year of this, I ran into this cat called Ralph Rensler. Saw me on the street and invited me to a festival, to play. I never knew what a festival was, and
Uh-huh.
and so he shows up a week later. I guess it was Saturday. I was just living in a hotel room in New York,
Uh-huh.
and we catch a train, and all of a sudden I'm playing on the stage, and Pete Seeger was on the bill.
Wow.
And I'm just playing, and all of a sudden I hear this music behind me, and it was Pete Seeger with his banjo, and just the last song, and that's what kind of started. I started getting some gigs
Uh-huh.
from Ralph Rensler, but still, just playing on the street, and he invited me up to the Bicentennial Smithsonian Folk Life Festival. They have every year they have this Smithsonian Festival
Uh-huh.
on the mall
Uh-huh.
in D.C. And it was 1976. There was some kind of, anyway, it went on for 2 months instead of 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And so Ralph invited me to play at that festival.
Wow.
So I just stayed at his house and would, do the gig every day. And once that was over, I went back to New York and started playing on the street. And, he started inviting me to some other gigs, and
Uh-huh.
and this was all solo. I was just solo at the time.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I didn't get into the band thing until early 80s.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And even then, Ralph Windsor helped me on that.
Uh-huh.
I was living at his house.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I guess this had to be 79 or something. And just got a band together and started practicing every day,
Uh-huh.
Learning my songs. And he got his gigs. This went on for a couple of years. And then I went my way, he went his way, and, I guess the life of a musician. Every once in a while you get a nice gig, but most time just regular gigs,
Yeah. I was going to say, your harp playing is so unique. How would you describe your style?
Well, really, I had 2 styles. At the time I started, it was just solos. I had to grab one of my harps. Now, I couldn't play any of, like juke or anything, when you first start
Uh-huh.
trying to play the harmonica. So I just made up my own tunes, and I made it sound like juke or, I know what music sounds like, so you just memorize it. Now, juke goes like this, Little Walter. So, every note, Little Walter memorized and just, learned it like any other song, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so I just made up my own song that'd be sounding like juke or any big band sound. And so I made a song I called Woody.
Uh-huh.
And I said Woody because of the Woody Woodpecker thing. Da-da-da-da-da.
Uh-huh.
Da-da-da-da-da. And so since I couldn't play, also I didn't know how to use the tongue method. Little Walter's using what they call the tongue method.
Uh-huh.
I was just pursing my lips and blowing on it. So I memorized this, the notes of what I wanted. So I went like this. See? Now you hear that? That's that Woody Woodpecker thing.
Uh-huh.
If you ever heard Woody Woodpecker, he had a little thing where he'd go, something like that. Anyway, so that's the intro.
Uh-huh.
And then I heard notes in my head, and I would just find it on the harmonica. So it goes like this. So you see what I mean? It sounds like a big band sound.
Uh-huh.
And so I would just go over and over it until I would learn it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then I would learn another song. And all of a sudden I had a repertoire, you might say. Whether it's Woody or if I had a slow blues, I couldn't do the sounds of Little Walter because he was using a technique. Like, say, Little Walter got a thing he calls Blue Midnight. Goes something like this. Let me see. So actually I'm sorry, that's not Blue Midnight. That was actually a tune that I made, but it's Little Walter would make these slow, instrumentals.
Uh-huh.
Whether it was Blue Midnight or he'd take the big axe, I call it the big axe, chromatic, and do something like called this what was this one? Lights Out. Stuff like that. That's called Lights Out.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And if you ever picked up the chromatic or any harmonica and try to even hit the first note, you ain't going to do it.
Uh-huh.
It's and so I found it easier to make up my own tune, pursing my lips. So I made up this thing I called chromatic blues. But this is, again, I would hear it in my head. Also, I'm just pursing my lips now. I'm not using the tongue method, so I went something like this. So anyway, that was my version. So, and what it is when you make your own tune, say it takes you 5 hours to complete the project, right? If you're trying to do somebody else's tune, it's going to take you about 5 months. Literally, because it's so intricate. It's just the way it is. So I ended up making mostly my own tunes because it was easier. And especially when it comes to singing, because I'm not a singer. I didn't know nothing about singing. So it was a lot easier for me to make my own song and hear the words in my head, as opposed to trying to do somebody else's, which I couldn't. Like, say, for instance, Little Walter, he does Businessman. I can kind of do it now a little bit, but Businessman went something like, see. I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman. I love good business, baby, and I give you all I can. So that's Businessman. Now, I couldn't sing it, and I couldn't play those notes. I just couldn't, at the time. So it was a lot easier to make my own songs similar. And so I made a song called I Like What I Like. And it goes like this. Like what I like, well, like is you, baby. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna? I like what I like, well, like you. You're over that seat, make a faster retreat. Figure me, I'll show you about the street. Yes, cause I like what I like. Baby, you're for me. So that's I like what I like. And so that might have taken me, I don't know, maybe a couple of days to do. But it took me years to learn Businessman or Juke. So I ended up making my own repertoire.
Yeah, that's...
And also, since I was solo, I added, like, I just figured I got to sound like a full band. So I just added things in between. So when I go, I like what I like, well, like you, baby, what are you gonna do? I like what I like. What I want to do. You know, so I basically tried to sound like a full band.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And then eventually I started working with a band.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, then it's totally different. Then you're working with a bass player, you know, whatever it is, you know, keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was another learning process, you know.
Who are you currently playing with, and where do you gig? I guess it's completely changed now with
I don't really get nowhere right now because I'm collecting money every month from my military service. And my landlord is also my guitar player for 25 years, Tony Fazio. And we haven't done any gigs lately. We had set a couple up, but nothing, you know, actually I just practice music. You know, I'm not gigging at all, really.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. And what did you learn about performing by playing the streets and subway stations? Was there something that really sticks out?
Well, you know, I did a lot of traveling when I first started, you know, picking up the harmonica. And just from the people that I hung out with in Atlanta, Georgia, I was in Knoxville, all over the place. I went to LA for a while. You know, didn't last there too long. They ran me out of town there.
Wow.
For real.
Wow.
So, you know, this is back in the 70s, you know. Also, I had actually at the time, now I know, I had a big mental problem. I had, when I said I didn't have any friends, nah, my family broke up when I was 2 years old. So I never really, you know, no mother and father type of thing. You know, my father came and saw us sometime, but it was just from house to house. And so when I got out of the Army, the last place I lived was this place called the Plumber Home for Boys. From 11 years old till I got out of high school. I went back there for a couple of days, you know, just to see it, you know. But other than that, there was no place to go, you know. So, like I said, that's why I had plenty of time to study music because I had my grandfather's house. I remember I stayed up there for about 4 or 5 months, Andover, Massachusetts. My father actually was living there at the time. He got in a bad accident when I was a teenager, and so he was living up there. I stayed there for 4 or 5 months, working in Lawrence and playing the harmonica, you know. And then I just left, started just traveling, and never really stopped, you know.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
And like I said, the reason why I could play music was I literally just, it's probably hard to believe now, but I know part of it was Vietnam. I just didn't want anybody around me. I mean, nobody. Year after year. So all I wanted to do was practice. That was it. Now, I would usually have 1 or 2 friends, but it was usually, you know, music. You know, that's just the way it was. And I just traveled until I finally got married. You know, and that lasted for 8 years. But my ex-wife, she was actually my bass player, my manager, everything. You know, that was kind of cool. For 8 years, I had steady work. That's the truth. You know, she was great on that. It's just things didn't work out. But you know, I get up every day and I practice music. This is what I do, you know. And I'm not really worried about gigs, you know. In fact, I kind of like my lifestyle right now, where I don't have to. I never done gigging all the time, because when you always broke and, you know, it ain't all that much fun. You know, you just a job now. You see what I mean? It's not, you know, like any other job.
Right.
You know, I much rather stay home and listen to music than go out and work.
Right.
You know, because that's what it is. It's work. You got to be there on time. You got to have your clothes right. You definitely got to have the band together. So that means, you know, it's a job. And that's fine. You know, I'd rather do that job than the other job, but it still works.
Right.
And so that's where I'm at right now, you know.
What songs or albums of yours should we be listening to?
I have no idea. I don't know. You got me. I mean, they got so much stuff on the YouTube, man. I mean, they got stuff back in the 70s I was doing, you know, so I don't know what people go for. I actually couldn't tell you.
Gotcha.
You know?
Okay.
It's just, all I know is one thing. I don't know if this is every musician, but every 5 years you actually change who you are as a musician. Your style, your vocals, everything. It's a different, you know, because you're working with different people. Whatever, you know, whatever traumatic thing is going on in your life at the time, that can change it. That, you know, imagine 1 second you got a full band, all the equipment, everything, and then the next day you ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
Because you divorced. You know.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it always is. You know, things happen real quick. So, for what people to listen to, I leave that up to God.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm a Christian myself. When I say I'm a Christian, I follow everything, even my music. When I play music, when I hit notes, I don't just think of anything. I found that if I, in my mind, mentally hum Jesus Christ instead of just anything, like say for instance, juke. Now you can do juke. You know, the notes. But what's going on in your head? With us musicians, we get on stage and we look out in the audience, we see somebody that's not liking what we do, it bothers us. All of a sudden you ain't thinking quite right. What I found is all I got to do is put the phrase Jesus Christ, and I found this out actually after I got divorced, in my music. And so instead of, I literally am in my mind saying Jesus, so every note means something now. And I had a big problem with that years ago. Playing on the street, person will walk by and say something negative to you or anything. Put you off. All of a sudden you ain't, you know, all happy.
Yeah.
And so, so this is how I play. And so every note is important to me.
Yeah.
And this has been going on actually actually once I got divorced, I just call it Jesus Christ hit me. But, you know, because it wasn't me. It ain't like I don't think anybody searching for anything. You know, just trying to live your life. But anyway, that's how I play music. And so, if I'm singing words, I try to picture the word in my mind as I sing it. And I do that because it hit me that, well, since God made everything, So everything's important.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a good singer,
Mm-hmm.
and so I found that helps me. So when I sing, I try to picture in my mind as I'm singing it the words. So whether it's God bless America, land that I love. What I used to say, I never used to picture the words of that,
Mm-hmm.
even when I was in school singing that.
Mm-hmm.
But I found when I picture the words, I sing better. Simple as that. I'm not saying I'm a great singer.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I go musically,
Uh-huh.
And actually, I talk about it in my latest harmonica. It's not a book; it's a DVD instruction
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
DVD I put out about I don't know how many years ago, but I explained about it in that also.
Uh-huh.
My method of playing, because that's a big problem with a lot of musicians or anybody. It's called stage fright. Simple as that. And it's not like it'll go away or something. That's why a lot of musicians have to get high or drunk before they get on stage.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I say I love listening. I much rather stay home and listen to music than have to jump on stage and all of a sudden entertain somebody.
Right.
And then the club owner, if I ain't making him money, at the end of the night I got to deal with him too. I had a dude that his hands were shaking. He was so mad having to give me the money because I didn't do the job he thought I should have done one night.
Wow.
I mean, it's funny now, but these are the things that musicians have to face sometimes.
Wow.
And so it's work. That's what I meant. It's work. But I look at it like, I'm a professional. So every day I get up, I'm going to study my music. But it ain't, but I'm just as happy to stay right here and listen to music as opposed to jump up. Oh, I got to be at, Eagle Saloon at, 8:30 tonight. And I've been to some clubs. I remember this one club we used to go to where the guy wouldn't pay us until the end of everything.
Oh, man.
Until, but that was the way he did his gigs. I forget the gig. Tony's right here. Tony probably remembers this gig. But I'm just saying, so that's why, it's great that, if I don't have a gig. Also, I have a lot of music that's out there on YouTube and CDs and all that kind of jazz that, that people can enjoy, That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I'm 72. I've been at this. I started here since 1971, I guess, when I got out of the Army.
Wow.
So, again, I leave it all up to God. That's because that's what happened to me. I'll tell you who got me into it. I told you the first time I heard the harmonica in Vietnam, but it was Sonny Boy Williamson that literally cemented it.
Wow.
I got this album, and again, I didn't know who the dude was. I just knew our harmonica player, and it was Bye Bye Bird, and. Yeah, I never heard no rhythms like that before in my life. I came up with Lawrence Welk's. I was born in '48, so I knew big band music, but I'd never heard those kind of, just that kind of groove, you know.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so I started going over and over, trying to, you know, play along with the guy.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then I started buying more albums, and you know, kept at it. And again, since I was really antisocial, and this is really why I don't think you could even imagine how bad it was with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about, if you even looked at me wrong, I'd wanted to fight you. It was bad.
Wow. Wow.
I'm talking about that thing they call, whatever it is,
Social anxiety or something?
whatever. But it was like I was a sick human being for a couple of years. I mean, sick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a year out the army, and I'm running around in New York homeless with this other dude.
Mm-hmm.
What we'd do is we'd go into the restaurant, order a meal, dessert, coffee, cigarette, then run out the door. Never paid nothing.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I did that for about a half a year with this dude.
Wow.
And shoplift. I wasn't that good at shoplifting, but he was.
Uh-huh.
And we just sleep in the park at night.
Uh-huh.
And I figured it was, I just spent 2 years sleeping in the jungle where there was snakes bigger than me, man, in
Wow.
Vietnam. And so sleeping out, being homeless, it wasn't that different to me.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Also, I'd never been out in real life. I'd just been in foster homes.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, and the army is not real life. They still take care of you. You don't have to pay for nothing.
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden, I'm out in the street, and I got to do this thing called work just to make money. And so to me, being homeless with this dude, you know, it was cool.
Yeah.
You know, I was playing harmonica, you know, just trying to play it, you know.
Uh-huh.
So I'm saying these are the reasons why I play harmonica.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it wasn't for Vietnam, I probably would have never even thought about it.
Wow.
But I'm sure that was also, I stayed an extra year in Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what cemented my kind of mental problem, I guess you might say.
Yeah.
And I think about it now. It's not like I was out there killing people every day. But the thing was, my job every day was to kill people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And long range, you would just basically set up an ambush and wait for somebody to walk by and shoot them up and then run.
Wow.
That's what we did.
Unbelievable.
And so, to me, not paying for some food, running out the store, that was nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little upset right now thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And the least little thing, Tony says it's called PTSD.
Yeah, that's it. PTSD. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's also why I couldn't hold no jobs, you know, because the minute you know, this world.
Yeah. Wow.
And so you can see how music fit me to a glove, man.
Yeah.
Fit me to a glove. And I still even have that problem now, to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
when it comes to the anger thing. I mean, I just got my arm busted about 6 months ago from fighting this one dude.
Wow.
And so, I don't know what happened last week.
Uh-huh.
But so, I don't know. It's just, I get a little bit of an anger problem. I don't know what it is.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, I mean, I'm not fighting every day, but I'm saying I still get kind of angry sometimes. I got to watch that. That's all.
Gotcha. And let's... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
And that's why I can play music real hard.
Uh-huh.
You know, when I was playing, like, my songs weren't no love songs. They were talking about, I don't want to die, but I'm getting tired of living. Or, baby, you don't wreck my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad at you because you won't do what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
These are my songs. These are what were in me, man.
Yeah.
It just, and so when I played, I wanted to blow the harmonica to pieces in a sense sometimes, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just like the blues, whether it's you know, it's like that riff right there. That's from a person that I was at that time where, you know, no friends.
Yeah.
You know, so I can really. Also, we don't have friends. You can be who you are. You don't have to act. That was the other thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I couldn't hold no job. They want you to act a certain way, but if you're going to act who you are, you ain't never going to hold a certain job, you know?
Right, right.
So I could, my songs are release, you know, like, that was, actually, that was a song about New York. Whoa, 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 whoa. New York, the place to be. Comes in the bushes, all the same, yeah. Anyway,
yeah, I have one last question for you. Is there anything else you want to accomplish with your playing? From I know you've accomplished so much already, but is there anything else like you want to get like do?
I just practice every day, and like I said, I just let God take over. You know, I don't know if I've ever searched for a gig. You know, they just happen. You know.
Yeah.
And no, just keep on playing. You know.
Yeah.
My main thing is I wish people good. That's all I can tell you. And music is one way. I've had music played in my ear that only lasted a couple of seconds, and I can still get strength of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you never can tell. It might just be that riff that Sonny Boy made or something. You know, so yeah, I really don't care. You know, just let it roll.
Cool. I like that.